Great, hello and welcome to Building with Bolt, episode 4. It is Saturday morning when I'm recording this, and I actually had an interesting experience that will give kind of the lead to the first tip of today, which is when I went to load this project back into Bolt, everything was broken. And I had to go through, you can see here, I had to go through a bunch of stuff. It took maybe 15 minutes to get everything back to where it was. When I went to reload the project, even though I hadn't changed anything and I had locked those files and done everything I showed in video 3, all of that had been blown away. It didn't know anything about the API. It had created mock data. So I got it back up and running. But that was a good lesson for me and a good lesson for anyone here that you should click this download button and download your code when you have it in a working spot. So I've actually downloaded the code for this and I have put it in a folder with the date. And I would probably, after I make changes today, I'll probably put it with the date and go V2, V3. That way I can roll back different versions. So what that also means is all of my file locking most likely has gone away. So I'm going to take a look here, and I do want to lock some of these files before I make changes. I covered this in the third video, but you want to lock files that you don't want changes to happen to. So I'm going to take a look here. Okay, so this, I want this to not change, so I'm going to lock this file. And let's see, ETH price, yeah, I want to lock that. NFT price, let's see, this is the one that's getting, yeah, this is what's using the live API. I want to lock this. NFT, this is also what's fetching the data. I want to lock this, because I'm just going to do some visual stuff here. And then types, I'm going to lock that. Let's see. And then, okay, the chart, this is what I'm going to try to play around with. Is the chart, and we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try to keep this video at 15 minutes or less because I do want to try to keep these more short and sweet. So I've got NFT price chart and NFT table. I'm just going to take a quick peek at these to see what's in here. Okay, so this is where this is where it's pulling in. Okay, so here you can see it's got these cards. This is where it's pulling in the visual elements for my chart, and then NFT table. I don't know which one it's using actually, but I don't have to worry about that right now. Well, I can see a bunch of stuff here. Okay, all right, well, I've got those, a couple things locked here. You can see the lock icon shows up here when it's locked. And what I want to do in this tutorial is something really simple. So let's go back to the preview. So you'll see I have the projects I'm tracking, the floor price in ETH, and then the floor price in USD. That's all looking good. And what I want to do is I want to make this visually more appealing. And so I'm a big fan of Tailwind. And actually, I'll go back so you can see how I got here. If you just go to Tailwind UI.com and you go to browse components, you can look here, and these are all these components that are available through Tailwind. And so I was looking through this and I was saying, ooh, neat. They have some pretty cool data display components, and I was looking through these and I was going, oh, it would be pretty cool. I like this with brand icon. So what I'm going to try to do is see if Bolt can do this. Now, as with all of my videos, this is not something I've tried before. It might totally fail. And my backup is going to be to use Shade CN, which is another pretty neat library for UI components. So we'll see. But, part of my motivation here is doing these videos and not having these canned prepared prompts, but actually having me go through the process of fixing stuff when it doesn't work, because that's what I think will be the most useful for people that are getting started with Bolt, is not seeing everything working perfectly, but seeing stuff break and then getting out of those situations. So it's this with brand icon. I'm going to see how do I explain this to Bolt. So whenever I'm looking at like using a third-party library and something from it, I want to make sure I can figure out how to explain it. So it's under, so it says use the Tailwind CSS stats components. Okay, so I want to say, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to say, let's just see what it does if I just do this and I don't specify. And then I wonder if I can go in and then specify with brand icon. Let's see what it does just with this though. So let's just copy this exactly. So I'm just going to copy this exactly. And I'm going to say, I would like, actually let's just put in, use the to for the NFT price table. Let's just try that. That's probably like too short of a prompt, but let's see what happens. Let's let Bolt work its magic. All right, I'll help you read down the components further to implement Tailwind CSS stats component for the energy price table. Since we can't modify the API related files, focus on improving the UI components. Great. So see, because that's locked, because I locked those API files, it's not going to break those. Hopefully, we'll see. It might break them. You never know. But I can see here now it's creating. Okay, broke down components into these cards and stats items, and let's see here. All right, blank screen, 10 problems. Okay, so that did not work. So let's see what the errors are. Stats item not defined. Okay, so this looks like it's probably just referring to something that doesn't exist. Let's hit attempt to fix. Whenever you see an error that says like whatever the variable name is or the method name is not defined, I found that you can oftentimes just, oh man, look at this. Now I've got 29 problems. Let's see. So it said, I noticed stats item component is being imported, which is causing the error. Let's fix it by, okay, so this did not work. So let's attempt to fix again. Now, sometimes this will just snowball the errors. And so this is another good example of why it's good to save your files for, oh, hey, look at that. Okay. All right. Boom. So look at that. That's a really interesting one. So went from 29 problems down to 2, and 2 is what I'm stuck with, by the way. Oh, now it has an error fetching the ETH price. Huh. That's interesting. How would it have an error fetching the ETH price? I thought I didn't have it change that library. Interesting. Okay. Well, I've got now, this looks actually more like it's using the Tailwind CSS. Let's see if we can tweak it a little bit. I'll just say this is looking good. Can you use, I want to use with brand icon. This is looking great. Can you use the with brand icon stats from Tailwind CSS here? All right, let's see. This will probably break it again, but let's see if it's able to update it, because now it seems like it is using Tailwind, and so let's see. Okay, so update stats card with brand icon style. Let's see if that will possibly do it. All right, remove separate components. Okay, all right. I guess that looks kind of similar. Okay, it's putting in the 7-day change and 30-day change, which we don't want. Okay, and actually this looks like it got it, because it's got, it's just justified to the right rather than the left, but it looks like it's using it, which is cool. But it's got some other stuff here. Let's see. Can you remove 7-day change and 30-day change from the cards? I don't know why it added that in. So let's see here. Help you simplify the cards by removing the 7-day and 30-day changes. Update stats card component. Yeah. So you can see here, this is the component. And I'll go into the code for a second here. Great. Cool. I'll go into the code to show you, a lot of times if you are changing to a specific library, whether it's like Tailwind or Shade CN, you'll be able to see what Bolt is editing. And so, if you want to learn any of these libraries, here's a good way to do it. I can look here and I can see, okay, stats card .tsx, and here it is. It's not that much code, right? I can look here and see, okay, so it's using this class name P6, flex, item start, justify between, text small. So I could even adjust this code if I wanted to play around with it, but I can see, all right, neat, not too hard. Let's put this together pretty nicely, actually. So I like that, but I feel like it's weird to have these icons on the right. And I don't know what that 0 is to the right of the ETH price. Let me take a look at what that is. Let's see here. So we've got, let's see. So here it says, okay, so I can see here, project.price ETH. So that would be the price in ETH of the project. So I can see, okay, that's that. So whatever is next to it is what I don't want. So that is this project price US. No, project price USD is below it. It's the price change. Okay, so I don't really want that in there. So I wonder if I can just, let me just try this here. I bet I can just delete this. Let's see if I get in trouble for this. And you know what, I'm going to cut so I can paste it back in if I need to. And I'm going to save. I'm going to preview. Oh, boom, that was it. Cool. So that's actually an example I wasn't even planning on sharing, but you know, you can usually kind of figure out in the code where things are and what you want to delete. And you'll see actually that was really cool. Did you see that? This just updated in real time. So that was pretty neat. Okay, you know, I feel like this is actually a pretty decent stopping point because I can go through and tweak and change a million other things, but I'm trying to keep these videos pretty short and sweet and not overwhelm people with too many things. So I'll kind of go through some of the stuff that I did in this video as a recap because I also realized it's probably helpful to run through what I did at a high level and kind of takeaways from this video. So first takeaway is whenever you have your project in a good place, like after this video ends, after I stop recording this, I'm going to hit download. I'm going to save this as, you know, NFT dashboard 12.14.24 v2, something like that. And I highly recommend doing that so then you can reload it in. So, you know, if I want to load it in tomorrow or Monday or whenever I look at this next, I don't have it trying to rebuild and breaking everything. Next lesson is, hey, if you want to use external libraries for UI, styling, things like that, you know, Tailwind's a great one, and you can actually like, you know, pull exact wording from their docs into your prompts, and then, you know, you can look here, and I, you know, went a little bit further with the brand icon, and so you can see, you know, I've already reformatted this. I think this already looks a lot cleaner. And then I reviewed again the concept of locking files, which I reviewed in my third video, but this is great. So then, you know, you could even see, if I scroll up here in the prompt, it even said, since we can't modify the API-related files, we'll focus on improving UI components. So I'm really glad I locked those because that'd be really annoying if it blew away all my API stuff. So you can go through and lock files to make sure it only touches the ones you want it to. And the last piece is I actually edited some code. So, you know, I saw it's updating stats card. I saw there was something in stats card that didn't really make any sense. I looked in the code, not a ton of code. I found out what it was and I removed it and was able to get to this point. So that's it. I'm about 13 and a half minutes. I will end it there. Thank you so much for watching Building with Bolt, episode number 4, and I'll see you next time.